So the last time we met, we discussed I gave you feedback already, isn't it? And I could see you've made some improvements concerning that.
You saw this, how
Yes.
the event was organized.
Yes.
You didn't see this because it was Mary's part.
Yes. Okay,
So-
that's very good. So Mary, could you please explain what you did? Because the last time we met, Dominic and Anna explained and I gave them feedback. So,
Well, I looked at Croatia in 2017 because it was the oldest of the three previous events.
yeah.
There was the least information because also there was no, for example, so much social media and all that stuff going on. So in that sense, there was not much information to be found. But I still tried to evaluate how the event was organized based on the criteria we discussed.
Okay. And did you state that because this was the oldest and it's difficult to find information, did you state that in your report as well?
No,
You should because when I'm reading it, I know. Because now, if I read, which one is yours?
The first,
The
the
Portugal.
newest one.
Okay, a lot of good information, and I read for Dominic, and it's also good. And I'm reading for Croatia, and it's like, hey, this is different from the other two stuffs. Why? But if you explain that there are little information on the internet, then it's easy for me to understand why that is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, besides that, well, still this each category explained anyway, and then just a little conclusion of what I wrote.
Okay. And I think the last time we talked about security, isn't it?
Yeah, but that was like the least
Yeah.
popular thing because there was not a lot of information. That's the one that had the least information, I think, for both.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I think transportation, housing, and like the venues and events,
Yeah.
those were, I think, the four most important.
Okay. And for Maria, what are the key findings concerning Croatia? If you
Well-
look at it, the things that stand out the most.
Most of it, I found detailed information about how the transport was arranged. Because,
Okay.
for example, all visitors and people participating, they were having a free transport and accommodation arranged, so I could find information in where and which kind of rooms they were staying, stuff like that. And then about the events that were taking place and stuff was a bit more vague, but I could find some specific dates and also information.
Okay.
And regarding the venues was also the most extensive part. And then in terms of promotion, mostly was they had a magazine and they were making some posts on Facebook, but there was no kind of really big strategy behind social media because
Okay.
Instagram came out like 2 years before, something
Okay.
like that, so
Okay.
it's not very big yet.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
And in terms of security, did security more as per the country itself, so more security about Croatia in general. And for sustainability, I couldn't find any related event at the time. I
Okay.
guess also because people some years ago was a bit less concerned about sustainability
Okay.
as well.
Okay.
So
Okay. Go on.
So I did say that there was no related activities or specific measures promoted in the online official sources of the event about sustainability.
Okay, good. And like I said earlier on, the effort you made looking for this information and you couldn't get it, explain it as well. Like maybe for these reasons I made this effort, but I couldn't based on these following reasons, and I know, or whoever is going to read it will understand that you actually make that stuff. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's done. So what are the new stuff you have for me today?
Okay, we did sub question 7. That was what Dominique worked on.
Okay.
It's still missing introduction and conclusion, but in general it's done.
Okay.
So that's about the student sports in the USA.
Okay, that's very good. I think this is one of the big stuff. So Dominic, do you mind talking us through what your findings, please?
Well, yeah, student sports in the USA are like completely different than in Europe. Also because in the USA, college sports have a very big history. They have so much traditions and like rivalries between the colleges and everything. So yeah, I found that was the biggest difference between the two continents, I would say, like two environments.
Yeah.
because in Europe we don't have like a rivalry between schools in relates to sports.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing, and then also in the USA, like the college games are a very big thing. Everyone knows about it. Everyone wants to go, all the students, and it's also like for the students, it's a way of getting out of the stress of school. So that's also a big thing. And then, in the USA, it's also encouraged for all the athletes to do it because they get scholarships.
Yeah.
And we don't have that in the Netherlands, at least. I do not know in every specific European country, but normally we don't have like huge scholarships for which you can get a university degree in return for your team, your sports.
Yeah.
And then another thing was, also that it's, just thought about it, but then now I forgot it a bit.
Okay.
But, tradition, scholarships, and in Europe I think it's also like not known. I mean, there are associations. I know in the Netherlands there's like a rowing association, but it's more student based or like city based instead of university based. Like in the Netherlands, or I think in all of Europe, there's nothing like a whole university football team or a basketball team or anything. So that's really different than in America. But I think it's also correlates with that in Europe, not everybody lives in the city they study in. Like it's not like in Europe, it's not really popular to live in a dorm, but in America it is. So that's also a factor, I think, in the difference.
Okay, very good. That's very good. So
I still need to conclude it and to write an introduction about it.
Okay. And then what about 7.2? Who's responsible for that?
Dominique, but I think she mentioned it.
The differences. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So now the big one is how should the city optimize their events organization in order to place themselves in a favorable position in bidding for this?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so question 8.
Yes. So I compared it with all of the 3 cities that we previously analyzed.
Yeah.
And a lot about how it was actually organized, and I think the biggest thing is that Leeuwarden, or the Netherlands in general, is much more northern Europe than all of the other 3.
Yeah.
So the weather will possibly be extremely worse.
Yeah.
Because I mean the Netherlands is known for the rain, so that might be a problem. So I also said that it would have like they should think about organizing the venues either outside like the others did, or at least have a backup option of switching the whole thing around and organizing it in like a hall or something, or like a big gym hall, just to be safe, because I don't think it's very positive for the athletes, but also the people visiting if it's just gonna storm the entire day. And then
what month of the year is it?
There is usually July. Which is okay, but you never know.
Okay.
And for in Debrecen, it was also in July, and it was very warm, so they organized it in the evening, but they still had one day where there was quite a big storm, so they had to cancel the entire evening and then do it on the other day. And here it's more likely to storm several days. So like I said, organizing it outside, yes, but keep in mind that having a backup option of organizing it inside would be a good idea. Then it's also like a matter of safety, of course, for everyone who's participating. Then transportation, in all of the other countries, transportation was either really cheap, or like Mary said, in Croatia it was even like paid for the people. And if they would not do this, then it would be like at least double the price of, for example, Debrecen. Because I think one train ticket from the airport back and forth is the same price as one ticket here from Schiphol to Leeuwarden. So it's double the price if they don't maybe help out with that and try to organize and find a way of either getting group discount or actually paying for the tickets.
But I mean, when you talk about the transportation, I believe those students have free transportation.
Oh yeah, no, not the students, but the ones that are
the
coming.
Okay, they
the
invited
ones that are
the
playing.
guests. Oh, the guests.
Yeah.
The guests.
The
Okay.
students, they have transportation.
So
paid for
you suggest that maybe the city should probably give them some.
Yeah.
So the people
Discount.
that's coming, that are participants from other countries, that probably they, just because they are participating and they already made it to the tournament itself, that they get that paid by the
Okay.
Because I think it's very, it doesn't look good for the country and the city itself if the student athletes come to that country and then they have to pay 30 euros for one train ticket.
Yeah.
If they've also been to other countries where it was free.
Yeah.
Or
That's
like
a very
15
Yeah.
euros
I
back and
explained
forth.
them as well. I participated in something like I did judo for 10 years, and I participated in the Island Games, which is the same as also from islands from all over the world.
Yeah.
And it's also for several sports. And we were staying in a whole villa kinda, just all the different teams from all the different islands, and we had everything arranged as well, so we didn't need to pay for anything, because it's kind of just by getting to the tournament you were getting everything paid, because you already made all the you built all your way up to the qualification process.
I mean, that's a very good insight that you should give to the organizers. Like the previous ones, transportation is either cheap or free, and transportation here in the Netherlands is not. It's really, really very expensive, which is the reason why I go everywhere with my bicycle. So
well, they cannot bike. They can't bike from Amsterdam.
Yeah, true. So that's a very good stuff. I like that. Okay, go on.
Housing. In the previous cities, they were either put in hotels or also like student accommodation was used. I think in this case, student accommodation is just out of the picture because everything is full. There's a housing crisis in the Netherlands going on, so
maybe it's July, so then maybe something will be free, but
yeah, that could be
I
true.
don't think so.
If it was like late July, then people maybe have moved out, but
because in July, that is the summer holiday. So you could also consider that if they're going to do it, maybe based on days, you could recommend that the event could be organized around end of July when all the students are on holiday vacation and there are more spaces which they could use from the student accommodation.
Yeah.
That could also be something to think about. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
and otherwise they would have to be put in hotels, which then the city would have to organize first to actually ensure that there's enough space for the students.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest issues for the order to put all the students somewhere.
Yeah, because limited space and
And normally for this kind of event, how many participants do you, on average, do you have any idea how many participants are coming for it?
I mentioned it somewhere. I know.
Yeah, and we specifically we narrow it down to only 3x3 basketball. So
Here, 7 different European countries with around 40 teams and just under 400 people.
Okay, 400.
So 400 is quite a huge number.
Yeah.
And I don't
only
think.
the 3x3 basketball.
Yeah. At least it was in Debrecen last year.
Okay.
In the 2017 we had 200
Participants or athletes.
190 students that were athletes.
Okay. I know this is 400. Okay.
So it's been increasing over years as well.
But maybe it's also like the team that are not the actual athletes, like a trainer, coach is not a student. Let's say. So.
Okay.
Yeah. I said that the city of Leuven should plan events like previous to the games for promotion opportunities because it also connects with the venues, which we would advise should be close to the university campuses around Leeuwarden, because the main people that are come to visit and watch our students. So that would make sense. But then they also need to let's say know beforehand that it's happening, so they can plan in advance. So events before, like just promoting events, and then during the games the previous years they had an opening and closing ceremony, but those were like mostly VIP people.
Okay.
So that could be changed in the sense of that could maybe be like still a VIP or like opening ceremony, but there could also be one that was accessible to the public for everyone in Leeuwarden who maybe wants to join.
Okay.
And I also, maybe we can.
And when you look at the promotion, what areas of Leeuwarden should that be? Is it in universities or just the whole of?
I think the main focus would be on universities because it is
definitely.
University sports.
Yeah.
Maybe also like schools below, like high schools.
Oh, okay. Or
because,
also like MBO, you mean?
Yeah, because then it's also for people who want to maybe go to a certain university and they think, oh, maybe I'll join that university. It could be promotion for them as well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Good.
What else? Yeah, I think that is mostly it, but I can already. Oh yeah, I did it. I also compared it to American universities.
Okay.
And there it's like really big as well. Like every university basically has a sports team. So I thought because the games that Leeuwarden is bidding for are only in 2027.
Yeah.
So that's still 3 more years. In which those years they could maybe. The universities could start to promote having like their own little teams. They don't need to be like super successful. They will not attend this probably, but just to get more students engaged and then. Yeah.
I mean that's a good idea as well. I like that.
They could even like because there's quite a few universities in Leeuwarden. Not like all of them are very big, but they could have their own little games against each other.
Okay, one another. Okay, yeah.
Because then that could also be like promoting the event
definitely,
previously.
Definitely. And did you make note this in your report as well? Just what you just said?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, I think then that's it, and then it's impact on organizing the user event on identified stakeholders.
Okay.
Sub question 9.
Yeah, and who made this? You, okay, talk me through them.
Yeah, so the previous stakeholders that we identified are mostly for the city, it's like local businesses, which are mostly farming and technological sectors, so it's not necessarily like sports or university related, but it's also, of course, the government and municipality workers.
Yeah.
And then the inhabitants of Leeuwarden and the students there. And the first thing that might have an impact on them is like the transportation, because it might be fuller on the days that the event is taking place.
Yeah.
So that's what I also I think is important with the venues and the accommodation, that it should be relatively close to each other.
Yeah.
So that for example, the buses are not completely overfilled on the days of the event.
Yeah.
And then what else? Oh yeah, the venues.
Okay.
It should be close to the universities and.
Okay. Well, I think when you look at the impact now, imagine we are organizing. Maybe Wintersheim is organizing something like this in Zola. Look at it from the economic revenue on small businesses like cafe, restaurant, hotels. So within that, maybe I don't know how many days, maybe a week, the impact could also be brings in a lot of extra revenue for this.
Yeah.
So it should probably also.
Well, for that you can also, of course, probably just engage on some small partnerships with local people.
Sponsorships as for local companies.
Nice.
So they can basically promote their own brand and their company, and it's I think very positive for them as well, because there's people coming from, what did we say, 14 different countries or something. So they will get a lot more like promotion. And then the city of Leeuwarden or the organization will get financial help, let's
Yeah.
say, in organizing the
Yeah.
event.
I mean, I would say maybe for this impact, I mean, there might be, we can break it into two: the positive and the negative. The negative in the sense that there might be a lot of traffic on the road now. There might be people getting drunk or something like this, you know.
But
And
that's why, of course,
so you can also break it into two. Okay, the impact could be in two forms. Positive, you explain that, and then what about the negative or the side effect of organizing this for the city? So and then you explain that as well. So you present these two.
I think a bit the problem on this is that we don't really know from like